Truth. How truthful do you need to be in a narrative film? Now, one could argue, well, it's fiction. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But I'd like to argue that it does. So the world is kind of a crappy place right now. I'm not going to get into specific political things going on, but it's pretty terrible. And what I'm noticing, not just in the news, though it's a great example, but also in what people are creating about the things going on in the world, is that we're just dividing, taking a side, and not really showing a whole issue because people don't want to deal with the nuance. But you know what? We have to. So when you write a fictional story, when you write a narrative piece, if you just do it from your side, like there are films, let's say, about abortion rights that take one side. And I'm talking about fictional films here, okay? I'm not talking about documentaries. That's not my world. But in a fictional film, often somebody will just take the side like all men are evil or women are put upon, so they have to have the right to abortion. I believe in freedom of choice. I'm a pro-choice person. But even people who do pro-life films, narrative films about why you should not have an abortion, they also just show the one side. Oh, that's evil if you do it. It's wrong, it's bad, and don't look at the whole picture because they're selling their side. The problem when you do that is you're kind of lying on both ways, both ways. I'm not saying one is worse than the other. It's the same on both sides. I'm just using abortion because it's such a hot topic as an example, but there's certainly other things, other hot social issues out there, climate change, so on, and not showing all the nuances of what's going on. So what you're doing is you either end up just preaching to the choir because people on the other side of how you believe, like if you believe, in A and somebody else believes in side B, and you only talk about side A, well, the side B people feel left out and offended and feel like you've discounted them and they don't matter, and their point of view and the facts that support what they believe don't matter. So you end up just preaching to the choir, just want to hear that they're right. Or worse, you end up offending the other side and you lose the ability to have a conversation. And that's what films are trying to lead towards. They're trying to open the door and show what's happening in the world so that people talk about it. But if you shut half the people out by lying by omission, then you're not really doing that. So when you write a script, it's really, really important that your characters represent all the different sides of what you're trying to do. And no one is all good and no one is all bad. It's not a Marvel movie. Okay. That's great for superhero films. It's fun. You get lost in it, whatever. I get it. I enjoy those things too. It's nice to escape from how complicated the world is. But if you really want to make an impact, you have to show all the sides, all the nuance, and try to get people to have a conversation by showing you care, even though your film is obviously leaning in a certain direction, that you do see their side and you want to have this conversation. Otherwise, you're just mouthing off. Sorry, but we have to try. This world is falling apart. So I'm having a really bad day, to be totally frank about it. I'm looking at what's going on in the world, and it's no one can have a conversation. You're either on my side or you're not. And I just don't think that's the way to move forward. And I think artists can do better.